Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Daily Angel Guidance Message. I'm Ramona Remisat, Intuitive Guidance Coach, Angel Therapy Practitioner. Today's Tuesday, November 28th. Before I get going, I just want to remind you, today we'll have a new episode of Takeaway Tip Tuesday. I'll be back live at 1:30 Eastern, which is 11:30 Mountain or 10:30 Pacific. Today I want to share with you how you can trust your inner guidance, because I know that's the hardest part of the whole equation, right? You can get good at recognizing guidance, but if you don't trust it, you won't take action on it. And if you don't take action, then the universe can't fully support you with what it is that you have asked for help with. So make sure you come back. If you can't be here live, I will have the recording here, the replay. You can come back and watch it later. So don't forget about that. Now, today's angel guidance message is a little bit different because I feel like this is a message for you that's based on something that recently happened to me. And it's a super shitty thing that happened to me. So let me just share a little bit about that. So I recently hired somebody to perform a service for me. And after the product was created, there were a couple of tweaks yet to be made. And then it was complete radio silence. This person refused to respond to any of my calls, my texts, my emails. I was reaching out to them on social media. They didn't respond. And it is a very time-sensitive project. So as you can imagine, my stress is kind of over the top right now because I really need to get this to have it to launch. And so essentially this person has robbed me. I've paid them now and they are not delivering on what they said that they would deliver. And it's a really crappy situation. So of course I was extremely angry and frustrated by everything that's happened. And sorry if you're just popping in, I'm just sharing a recent situation that happened with me because I feel like this is kind of a message for you guys. It's an indirect angel message. I'm not using cards today, but I want to share this important lesson and message. So as I said, I just hired somebody about a month ago to do something for me. They have not completed it. They have gone completely silent, won't respond to any of my calls, texts, emails. And now I am left holding the bag, and they have been paid because it was pretty much wrapped up. There were just a few changes that needed to be done, and yet those changes are not happening. And this is a timely project. So I'm very angry, I'm very frustrated, and I know that sometimes we shy away from those negative emotions, right? Because I always talk about if you really want to get good at law of attraction and manifest awesome stuff in your life, you can't be in those negative emotions. So we have to be very cognizant of what we are feeling at all times. So that kind of makes us shy away from those feelings. So what I want you to know is that you can actually gain a lot of power from those negative emotions. So anger, which is the prime emotion that I was feeling after shock and disbelief, because I'm like, who does that? Like, who does that? Who takes your money and says they're going to perform a service for you and then just doesn't respond, like goes completely silent? Who does that? So after the shock and disbelief, it was anger. And then I realized in that moment that, I am not going to be a victim. I had a choice in that moment. I could be a victim or I could be a victor. And choice is a beautiful thing. It is something that differentiates us from animals. It's the one thing that differentiates us, well, other than our DNA, right? But in every moment we have choice. So feel your emotions, but then realize you have a choice, that your situation doesn't dictate. You get to dictate. You get to decide what you're going to do. So I went into action, and I'm taking action in this situation, and I'm going to make sure that it's going to have a favorable outcome one way or another. And so that's what I wanted to share with you, because it's funny too, as this came up in the last few days, I keep seeing these same recurring messages about choice. So if you're in a situation right now that isn't so great, I want you to consider, what choices do you have about it? You can choose to be all consumed by it and to allow that to suck you down, or you can choose to rise above and take action steps in that direction. It's not easy. And yes, you'll still be mad. I'm still fuming. Like, I really could punch a wall right now. I know that's not going to do any good, right? I'm very upset, but I'm really focused on getting this project launched, and so I'm looking at all the avenues that I have available to me in order to be able to do that. So I'm focusing on that rather than what happened. You can dwell in that, you can be angry, all of that, but it's not going to get you any further ahead, right? So I want to share that with you. And I know we know all this stuff. And there's some moments that I have where it's like, oh, I don't really want to go that route, but I just want to be in that anger. But like I said, then in the next instant, I realize what that does energetically and karmically, and I switch out of that. So that's kind of the lesson in all of this that I wanted to share with you. Do you guys have any situations maybe that you're dealing with right now that this is resonating with you? Because I just felt like I really needed to share this in the world. I've been debating the last few days, like, do I talk about this? What's going on? Because I know everything happens for a reason. And so I feel like part of this reason is that somebody out there needs to hear what I'm talking about. So, if that sounds like it might be you, great. If it isn't you, pass this along, because somebody out there obviously needs to hear this. And, it could be even a health thing that's going on where people are very all encompassed with not having such great health stuff, and letting that consume them, but remembering still we always have choice. We have choice in our treatment. We have choice in how we see the situation. We have choice in, many things. So I just wanted to really get that message across about the power of choice and how you can incorporate that into your life right now with whatever it is that you have going on. Even as we get into the busy holiday seasons, a lot of times people feel like a lot of stuff is thrust on them. And I was talking to a neighbor about this, and, she's not feeling well. There's a lot going on, and yet she's supposed to host the Christmas this year. And I said, well, if it's not feeling right to you, you have a choice, right? You can either cancel it completely or have everybody over, but tell everybody they need to bring something, or order out, As we said, the importance is of the gathering, not of the meal itself, right? So you have different choices. How can we still make this work? How can we still have a happy Christmas, but make it more manageable for me, for everybody else involved, that kind of thing. Yay, I'm getting some, shocked, right? Isn't that like shitty? Like, who does that to somebody, right? Like, honestly, and it really shook me, because I'm the type of person who truly believes in the goodness of people and the goodness of humanity. And sometimes my husband, he'll get mad because he's like, oh, you're too nice, you're too naive, or you're too whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to believe that the world is a good place. When stuff like this happens, it kind of brings that reminder that that's not always the case, right? That there are people out there who aren't always having your best interests in mind, right? And are more whatever. So yeah, it's a hard lesson. Yeah, it's an expensive lesson. Will I do it again? Absolutely not. I'm definitely going to be learning from this, but how else can everybody else learn from this? And that's why I wanted to share this video today. So anybody have any comments, questions? Like I said, share this one out. It just takes a minute to click to share it. And just say, is this message meant for you? Share, right? Because somebody out there really, I keep getting, when Spirit wants me to share something, it feels like they're poking me, like nonstop, like do this. And I'm like, okay. Right? It's like a kid, mom. And you're like, what? Right? So that's kind of today's angel guidance message, guys. And really consider this. What can you make some choices about in your life today that's going to help you move forward in a more positive way and not get so dragged down in those negative emotions, but at the same time, feel your emotions. Because like I've said this before, I know I sound like a broken record, we kind of live in a society that doesn't have a healthy way to deal with our negative emotions, right? So most people will just stuff them down, stuff, right? We don't want to deal with that. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, makes us, experience like all of these things that we don't like. So we sweep it under the carpet or we stuff it down. And after a time, that has to go somewhere. So it's either going to erupt, like Mount Vesuvius, even physically you can start having issues like reflux, acid reflux coming up, right? And dealing with a lot of discomfort sitting in your chest area, the heartburn, heart center, right? You get heartburn, you have acid reflux. You can have, such dis-ease within you that it finally manifests as a disease. We don't want to get to that point. We want to have a healthy outlet for our emotions. So feel your emotions, but then move forward from that. Learn something from that. Take something from that. Make sure you're not the victim, but you're the victor. Okay, so hopefully that, thanks for the the hearts and stuff, and letting me know that this resonates with you as well. And what can I say? Never pay until something is finally done, which I know better. And 2, get references. And 3, maybe we have to not be as trusting as we would normally be, which is really sad because, like I said, I try to believe truly in the goodness of people. And yet we always have to have that kind of radar on at all times. And always, the biggest message is to always listen to your inner guidance, right? And sometimes when these things happen, we question that. We're like, well, it felt good to me. I checked in and all signs seem to be pointing to go. So what does this mean now? Is my inner guidance faulty? Should I not be trusting it? All these questions will come up. And what I want to share with you about that is no, you probably did have a true read on it, but at some level, you maybe were still a bit coming at it from what your mind was trying to tell you. Like you go, yeah, it seems like this is the right person or whatever in your mind. It's checking all the boxes and you're kind of checking in with your inner reading, reading what you get from that person. And yet there might be something slightly off, but you still let that head take over. Right? And in other instances, sometimes you do need to go through these things. Maybe your inner guidance was right. It was pointing you in the right direction and you still had a crappy outcome, but that could be because there was something in that you needed to take and learn from, right? So, yeah, I guess I had a lesson to learn and I guess I needed to share it with you guys. So help make this worthwhile. My painful experience, share this out so that others can learn from it. That's what I ask. Let's have some good come from this, right? So I hope that it helps you and I hope that it will help others. And that's all I want to thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Not sure who that was. Who is that? Let me know who's on. Take this. Let's make some lemonade out of these lemons. And I hope you'll be back here at 1:30 Eastern. 11:30 Mountain, 9:30 Pacific. Like I said, I'll be back sharing about how to trust that inner guidance. So it's kind of a segue from what we've just talked about right now. All right, everybody, I know that was a bit longer than normal, so I will let you get on with your day and we'll be back very soon. Have a good one.